All right, well, welcome back to another video on the semi-trailer. I know you guys love it as much as I love bringing it to you. As you can see, there's some snow on the ground. We just got out of a really cold spell. Definitely the coldest weather this trailer has ever seen would be my guess. But it, you know, handled it beautifully, as to be expected. But today's video, we're gonna go over what's on the other side of this wall. So as you may remember, we've got some rather large cutouts in the front. There was an air conditioner up there, there was a generator here, there was a step ladder here, and all that stuff left holes in the original aluminum. Now, our fab guy, the one that did the frame on the tractor and some other stuff, is confident that he can patch these and repair them, and you'll never know, because we really don't want to replace the original panels if we don't have to. But before he can come out and do the repairs, there's a couple things that have to happen first. First, it has to be warmer, because he said he can't do the aluminum welding when it's this cold out. So that'll probably be till spring. But there's a lot of prep work we can do in the meantime. He's gonna have to get to the back side of all of these panels. Well, inside there's plywood, and between the plywood and this aluminum, there's some blown in insulation. So we got to get all of that removed so we get down to the inner structure of the front of the trailer, and that way it'll be all ready whenever he comes out to patch this stuff up. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll take you inside. Do you want to help with the Semi's restoration? Donate now to the Semi Restoration GoFundMe initiative, or buy one of our awesome Semi Restoration Team shirts. Links are in the video description below. All right, so here we are on the inside. It's a little bit warmer in here, which is nice, because even though it's cold out there, the sun's shining and kind of turning this into a little bit of an oven. Although not that warm, but still not too bad in here. So these are the panels I'm talking about. Now, as you can see, I've already got this top panel removed. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. You see, in 1978, when Dorsey put this trailer together, the fasteners they used to hold these plywood panels on are terrible. They're absolutely terrible. Let me show you them. Here's one of the fasteners right here. All right, now some of you guys have seen these before, I'm sure. It's simply a sleeve that you put into the hole, right? And then whenever you put this little nail / screw in, push it, and you twist it in, it opens the back end of it, and that's what secures it to the wall, right? There they are. So normally these wouldn't be terrible, except, I don't know if you can see, but the head on this, it's a flathead on this, and these are aluminum. But the problem is these have been in there for 45 years, and the depth of the head is very shallow, and it's aluminum. So when you get in there, you have to take a tiny screwdriver, push with all of your might, and just hope that it turns and you can get it out. A lot of times, I'd say for that top panel, I'd say 40% of the time, no matter what I did, I couldn't get this out, and it just started marring the top end. So I had to basically drill a lot of these out. And I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen with these panels here. We're probably gonna have to drill out all of these. Now, even though these are terrible, and even though the panels will eventually be covered completely, we did end up finding brand new ones of these. We bought a couple hundred, because we're gonna need them throughout the whole trailer. So we are going to end up replacing, we're gonna put these original panels back on here, but again, we gotta get to the back side of the aluminum before before we can, you know, put this all back together so the fabricator can get in here. Now, as you can see here, I just kind of have this up here. Let's move some of this out of the way. There we go. So you can see here, we've got, that's the plastic I have on the outside there. So that's down to the structure where we need it to be. This was all filled with blown in insulation. I got all that removed. We are gonna replace the insulation, but it's funny, when I pulled these panels out, the top didn't even get any insulation in it. They blew them in. There were access holes they cut in. You can see some of them on these panels, but they cut access holes right here and blew it in, but it left like the top foot uninsulated. So we're probably gonna put some styrofoam insulation in here before we put the panels back up, but obviously we got a lot of work to do. That has to be patched. We got to get this rib put back in and whatnot. So let's go ahead and see what we can do about getting these panels off. All right, so I went ahead and popped these out before we started rolling the camera, and let's see if we can get this. There we go, that piece off, like that. And then hopefully, let's see if this guy wants to come off. Still have some of these sleeves in here. There's one. See if we can get that off. Yeah, 45 years of these being in place means some of them don't like to come out very easily. There we go. Put the sleeves over here. All right, I think that's all of them, so let's see if this wants to come out. This was painted, so the paint's holding some of this in, I think. Come on. There we go. All right, so there you can see some of the blown in insulation. So let's go ahead and work on drilling some of these other fasteners out of here. Maybe we can get this next piece out. So now we just have a whole mess. Take some of this out. Anybody want some blown in insulation from the trailer? Not original. $1,000, it's yours. All right, let's keep going. Kind of looks like the front of the trailer was shot up, doesn't it? With all those pinholes in it. Well, we'll get them filled in, but the purpose of this video is to go over our latest Patreon flag agents. So if you're not familiar, I'll give you a quick recap. We have a Patreon community, and these are our, I guess you could say, super fans that have joined us in Patreon. They get early access to all our videos, behind the scenes photos we don't post anywhere else, additional videos, exclusive videos not posted anywhere else, and all kinds of neat perks like that. We have 4 tiers of support in our in our Patreon community, and our flag agents are our top tier supporters. As a flag agent, as our top tier supporter, you get some extra perks, like we give you a shout out when you become a flag agent, which we'll do here in a second, and we answer any question you have about Knight Rider on the air for as long as you're a flag agent. So you have 1 question, you have 1,000 questions. Maybe spread those 1,000 questions out over a few years. Anyways, but regardless of the questions you have, we answer them here. So if you are interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, be it a flag agent or any of our other levels, there's a link in the description below, and there's also one in the corner of the video. I guess it's this way, right? It's in one of these corners, right? All right, let's go over our latest Patreon flag agents. First, we have Mike Bartley. Mike, thanks so much for your support. I hope you enjoy your time here as a flag agent. We have Damon Jarrell Rembert. Damon, thank you for joining us. Thanks for your support. And Cody Huey. Hopefully that's right. Cody Huey. Cody, thanks for joining us here. All right, here's our questions from our Patreon flag agents this week. This one is from Redacted. We all know that continuity in Knight Rider was more of a suggestion than a mandate. I like that. I like the way you put that. But does your research show any communication or memo from NBC or Universal higher-ups mentioning the lack of continuity or a request for more care in this regard? No, we have never seen any behind-the-scenes paperwork. We've never heard anything when we talk to some of those executives, the crew members over the years. No one mentioned that. And I think that was just, the lack of continuity was just in the culture at the time of not just Universal, but I think all of the shows of the time. I was just watching the Rockford Files not too long ago, or just a clip of it. And it was a scene from later in the series. And, Rockford had his gold Firebird. And earlier in the series, it was like a 74 Firebird. Later in the series, it changed to like a 77 or 78 Firebird. And those cars, the front clips changed throughout those years. So I was watching a later one when Rockford was driving his later style Firebird, and it was just a general cruise down the road. And in that 30-second shot, they kept cutting away, and they must have cut. They had the newer Firebird, then they cut to the older Firebird. Then it was another scene or another angle, and it was the newer one. Then it was the older one again. And, it's clear as day that those are 2 different cars, that, the front ends don't even look the same. But that continuity that Knight Rider was missing wasn't just Knight Rider. It was like all the shows of the day. And, to me, it's actually part of the charm. I kind of like the lack of continuity. All right, Mirko Strugalovic, hope that's right. If I remember correctly, Super Pursuit Mode kit was built by George Barris. Is there any information on what inspired him? Are there perhaps even concept drawings? Above all, I'd be interested to know how the lower spoiler came about, especially as this area is not visible in the transformation process. So as far as what inspired him, I would imagine it was probably some of like the, not dragsters, but maybe land speed cars at the time, because they knew that KITT, in Super Pursuit was supposed to go super fast. So I think that lower spoiler in the back, even though you never see it go down, is one of those things that they do on race cars to help control the airflow and keep the car from, keep the air from pushing up on the car. I think that's how that works. So all those concepts and designs were probably taken from that world, that racing world. And, you know, obviously KITT's supposed to be run by a turbine. So, you know, some of the side exhaust ports that open up might be, you know, kind of related to that. So I think some thought actually went into how KITT was going to look in Super Pursuit Mode car. There are a few concept drawings out there, and here we'll show you a couple of them here. But you know, I'd imagine that Universal and Ron Martinez, who kind of spearheaded the Super Pursuit Mode build from the studio side, I'd imagine that you know, there was a lot of back and forth about the design and what it should look like, and the studio had to approve it and all that stuff. All right, Steve Gregoriff. Sorry, Steve. Did the studio do anything special to the hubcaps to keep them from coming off during filming? Yes, they did. Not on all the cars, but on the stunt cars especially, they actually drilled a hole in the center of the cap and put a giant bolt in the center to hold it in place. And you can see that in some scenes. You can actually see the bolt holding the hubcap in place. All right, so that's all we've got for this week. This says 3 questions. Again, if you want to join us as a Flag Patreon supporter, well, as a Patreon supporter, Flag Agent, or any of our other levels, we have Knight Rider History Hunter, Knight Rider Appreciator, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. But again, link down below. We'd love to have you there. All right, moving on. By the way, you see those 2 rivets, one there, one there? That's what's holding on the Dorsey emblem on the outside of the trailer. Now, I had considered taking the Dorsey emblem off to be refinished off the trailer, and I might still, but that would require grinding those rivets out, putting new ones in, which, you know, might be worth it so we can refinish it kind of on a bench as opposed to up on the trailer. So we'll see. But of course, we can't put this panel back up until we get those ground off and the new ones in, because that, you know, covers it. All right, so I think we got all of the fasteners out as best we could. Pretty much drilled them all out. But before we could take this panel off, I actually had to take this piece off. Now, does this piece look familiar to any of you? Maybe, maybe not. This is the registration holder that's mounted on the outside of the trailer. Now the bolts, actually there were only 2 bolts, the third one's missing, but the bolts were driven through the front, through this panel down here, so I couldn't take the panel off till I got this out. This is original from the show. In fact, where did I see black paint on it? There is some black. It might not come through on the camera, but there is some black showing through here. You can see this on, this is factory Dorsey, but it's actually the original one from the show as well. Let me see if there's any black maybe on the inside. No. Any secret Knight Rider writings? Nope. Too bad. Yeah, there's no black. Oh, there's a little black right around here. But anyways, so this is going to get restored. We'll strip this is cast metal, so we're going to strip this. We'll get this repainted black separately from the trailer. So the next time this goes back on, it will be black as it should be, as we saw it in the show. All right. So with that, let's see how difficult this panel wants to be. See if we can pop it off. Let's see, what are we holding up on over here? There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. Put this out of the way. All right, so there we go. Got that all down to the studs. Boy, the blown-in insulation was clearly lacking in some places. That's all right. We'll get our shop vac, suck all this out of there. The reason we had to pull this bottom one out is because, I don't know if you can see, they drilled a hole here for a ground cable and some holes down there as well. All right, so I went ahead and got all of the insulation that I dropped vacuumed up. So here's what we're working with. You can see here, got all that cleaned out. That was all jam-packed with all kinds of lovely stuff. Got a little bit of surface rust on that plate down there, but not too bad. This right here is the backing plate for all of the trailer connections, the air lines, the electrical. That's what's on the other side of that, and that's all factory Dorsey. So interestingly, there was a hole here that someone plugged up, and I have no idea what that is. It's smooth on the outside for the most part. I mean, you can see where this is, but yeah, I don't know. It looks like a ball of cow dung. Hopefully that's not what it is. But yeah, we're gonna have a few holes to fill. Those are the holes for the registration holder that I showed you, so we'll keep those, obviously, and of course that hole. Now, I did find something interesting from when they cut out that hole, and I found it right down in there amongst all the other junk. Let me show you. Yes, it's a piece of the aluminum skin, and yes, that is original black paint from the show. Isn't that cool? We already knew that they installed the air conditioner, that they installed that ladder when the trailer was still black. So it makes sense that we would find a scrap piece that is black. We also found another scrap piece, obviously a hole saw. Took this out, and I think it was from that, where there was an outlet there. I think that's where that came, because I found it right down there. So obviously we're gonna hang on to these. I think this is worthy of putting in a display case or something, don't you think? We'll have to put this on display, maybe inside one of the cabinets in the office to show some original black paint. So there's all the fasteners that I got out, the ones I didn't drill out that I was able to get out. And now we just have to leave this all exposed until our welder can get in here and get all this patched up, and we can get a new rib in here and new ribs over there. So, but progress is being made. Never stop, never surrender. We've got a new feature across the Knight Rider Historian's YouTube channel, Super Thanks, not to be confused with Super Pursuit. With Super Thanks, you have the option to post a distinct, colorful, and fully customizable comment in our videos comments section. This shows the world that you are a super Knight Rider fan and will stand out amongst the sea of comments that we receive. Go ahead, give it a try. And every Super Thanks gets a super response from us. Press the thanks button. Just don't press the turbo boost. Hey guys, time to pause on our work on the semi-trailer and go over our latest donor names. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with what we're doing here with all these hundreds of names, yes, hundreds of names, which is awesome, as a way to raise money for the restoration of this trailer and the tractor, we're offering you the option to have your name on a plaque in the semi for all eternity. Well, at least while we're in control of it, which will be for all eternity. Anyways, so for a donation of $100, you can get your name on a plaque. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is a hot mess, right? Well, yes, it kind of is, but this is just a temporary placeholder. The original plan was to just handwrite names on the aluminum of the trailer, but then I thought, well, that's not worthy of this project. So we're gathering names for an indeterminate amount of time. Sometime next year, we'll stop collecting donations and names, but then we're gonna get an official engraved plaque made with all of these names on it. We're gonna mount it somewhere in the trailer, so whoever sees the trailer will see the donor plaque and know that you had a hand in the restoration of the semi. So if you're interested in getting your name on the wall, on the plaque, you can email us, nightridersemi@gmail.com. That's also our PayPal address if you want to send the money via PayPal, nightridersemi@gmail.com. If you can't do PayPal and you want another alternative way to pay, let us know and we can certainly work with you on that. So with that said, let's go over our latest names. Now, our last video that we did where we went over these names, I conveniently forgot to do the close-up of them. And it's important to do the close-up because I want to make sure that the names are spelled properly and that no names were omitted. So I'll do the close-up here in a second of last week's names that I missed and the new names. So if you donated and your name's misspelled, let us know. If you donated and you don't see your name, certainly let us know. This piece of the video that I'm recording right now covers names up through December 30th of 2022. So if you donated after that, it'll be on the next video. All right, so let's bring you in closer, show you the latest names. All right, so first off, these are the names from last week, okay? So if you donated, your name should be somewhere on this list. All right, here's the newest names right here. Thank you all so much, so much for your donation. I mean, we seriously cannot do this project without you. And just to give you a quick update on the sleeper, we've put a deposit down and the sleeper is actively, they're gathering the materials and the construction is gonna start very, very soon. So that's super exciting. And honestly, you guys are the ones that have paid for the sleeper with your donations. So again, thank you. I mean, this project would not be able to be done without this. All right, we still have some work to do in here. It never ends. Let's get back to it. All right, so next on the list are these wonderful pieces of plywood. Now, we had exposed these a while back once we removed, if you remember, there were carpeted panels up there. We pulled them down and we said, oh, look at that. There's unpainted original Dorsey plywood here, right? No. Now, I think these are not original. And I'll show you why in a minute. We got to pull one of them down. We're going to pull them all down. But once I pull one of them down, then I'll bring you up closer and show you why I'm like 99% sure those aren't even original plywood pieces, right? Why would we have anything original in here? So let's go ahead and get one of these panels down, then I'll bring you in and show you what I'm talking about. Now, they're held in by a couple screws. And if we're lucky, the screws come right out. If we're not lucky, then we have to get creative. All right. Let's do this one. Yeah, both these screws appear to be stripped. Let's try one more time. Nope. No. All right. So this is what we do when the screws don't come out. Pry bar. Good thing these aren't original, or I'd feel real bad about doing this. All right, so before I do any more, let me bring you up here and show you why these are not original. All right, so take a look at this. So that's obviously one of the screws that was not able to get out. We'll get some vice grips and plop that out of there. Same with that one. See these holes right here? This hole, this bigger hole here, this hole, this hole. These are the factory ones, as you can see, that run along these ribs. These are the factory ones that those tappet fasteners go in, the factory ones, all right? But if you look at where these holes are, see how there's no holes in the plywood right here? Those holes are at the same location on each side. There's no hole here, right? If this was original plywood, that maybe they just pulled the fasteners out and put screws in, then these would be lined up right here, and they are not. So that tells us none of this is original wood. And that holds true for all of these boards, all of them. We, off camera, already did this side over here, as you can see. And there they all are. None of them are original. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on here, and we'll get these cleaned up. All right, let's try this next one, see if it'll be a little more cooperative. This one's less cooperative. Okay. Well, it's gonna just be one of those days. I was just noticing there's some stamp marks on the back of these boards. I was trying to see if there's a date on them, but they're really, really faded. Maybe one of these other ones will actually give us a date of when the wood was manufactured, and then we can firmly tell you that it wasn't used in the show, although 99% sure it wasn't. All right. See if we can get these out. There's something satisfying about knowing you're starting with a completely clean slate, because then we can build it up back to the way it was supposed to be. A lot of broken studs in here for some reason. This all has to be removed and made flush so the new plywood can fit in here properly. Let's see, what else do we have? There's one there. All right, let's see if we can get this out. Yep, we can. All right, but will the screws come out? Come on, there's one. So our goal with all of this, with every single one of these ribs, and it's gonna take some time, obviously, is to get every single one of these ribs, I keep calling them ribs, but the support posts, get them all cleaned up. Now, some of that cleanup work is easy. It's taking screws out. There's, you know, some that have some rivets that need drilled out, not a big deal. But you can see there's also this evidence, and it goes the whole way down on both sides, that there was horizontal bars welded in here, probably for an upper deck, an old upper deck before the upper deck that was in here was added. And because of this, you know, because of all of this extra metal here, the plywood will not fit in here. So we got to grind all of these down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's like 20 of them. We got to grind those down. Also, if you look here at some of the original holes, like this one, these are the original fasteners. So whenever they ripped this trailer apart originally, they just cut the fasteners. So we got to go through here, clean up all those holes, that's the easy part, right? And make sure that these are all clean. So we've got a little bit of work ahead, but doing all this prep work now will make it so easy whenever we go to add the plywood back in. We're gonna obviously insulate as well. There's your nice close-up look at the 3 bolts, the ones you see on the outside of the trailer. These are the ones that held in the cross beam that held in a series of pulleys for the ramp to open and close. So those bolts, those are about the only bolts that aren't cut. So we'll be able to reuse them. We'll simply undo the nuts, insert a new cross member, and then bolt it back up, and should be good to go. It'll also help whenever the welders come out to fill these holes, you know, if all this stuff's out of here, so they kind of have a clean slate. One. Come on. Come on. Oh, so close. Can we just have one board where all the screws come out? Nope, definitely not. All right. Why make this easy? I'm trying to help you, trailer. I think you want all this junk out of here. Come on. We have a date on here. Boise Cascade Western Sanded 1/4 inch exterior group. No date. Well, we've got 3 more. It would just be really cool to find a date on one of these. All right. You know, it's funny. Portions of this video were recorded just a couple days ago whenever it was really cold outside. Like really cold. Today it's like in the 60s Fahrenheit, sunny, and I'm getting hot. That's about typical for around here. Well, except for the sun. The sun's not very typical around here, it would seem. But I'll take any semi-warm day I can get. All right. Oh, all this rescuing of the trailer is real hot work. There we go. All right, carrying on. One more back here, and then we'll be able to do these boards here. Hopefully this is exciting to all of you. Watching me take all these screws out at an awkward angle because I am too lazy to get down and move the ladder. Right? Right. Lots of pinholes up here. Not pinholes, drill holes actually, that all need filled so we don't have leaking issues later on down the line once everything's together. All kinds of screws up here. I'll just take the liberty to get those out now while I'm up here. All right, do this next one. Oh, I swear it's these left ones for some reason. They're always hard. I'm determined to get one full board out without. Oh. Got that one? Come on. Yes! All right, so the question is, can I get this last one out? Come on. Come on. Yes, there we go. Out of all the boards, there's one that came out whole. We don't have a date. March. It says March. March is a good month. No year. Come on. We got 1.5 more to go. All right. All right, let's see if luck will strike twice. We can get this one out. Hey, how about that? 2 for 2. Some of these are hard to... Come on. There we go. It almost looks like it's faded. It almost looks like it says 92 there. Maybe it was March of 92. That probably would be about right. All right, what else do we have? Another screw there. Looks like we got all those out. There's a twisty, or a zip tie up here, wedged in the... Come on. Okay. One last board to get down. So close. All right. Let's finish it off. There we go. Notice how it's black on these last 2 on either side. March again, but nothing else. So there we go. We got a lot of the fasteners we got to pop through here. So just to give you guys an idea, I'm trying to see here. The pulley would have been up there. There was something welded right here. Just right here. I don't see it on any others. It might have been welded over there. There's evidence that something was ground off, so maybe there was something there. All right, so I guess we can just go through, get all our holes cleaned out here. I should collect all these fasteners at the bottom. They're all technically original and screen used, right? Come on. There we go. Gotta get these all cleaned out. All right, so let's stand back and there we go, all cleaned up. All right, so off camera, these were the boards that were on the footer down below on the bottom. They were separate from the plywood pieces. So off camera, I went ahead and got all those removed. I figured you guys didn't need to see me pulling up all of those boards down there. But as you can see, we got everything cleared out here. I mean, we are down to bare bones, which is awesome. So really the only thing left to do, like I mentioned, are on these support pieces, we got to clean off where other things were welded in. There's a few rivets that need ground off. But then really these walls will be ready for the new plywooded insulation. Got to wait, get some of this repaired before we put that stuff on. But really, I mean, we're not going to put the plywood in either until we get the roof seal, because we do have some leaks in here, and the last thing we want is for the new plywood to get wet. So we'll get the roof sealed in the spring, and then we'll probably start lining all of this with insulation and plywood. So it's coming along. Alrighty, I think that's probably enough content for this video. Not sure what we're gonna do next on the semi. As you can see above my head, there's still a couple little bits of bracing that need ground off in here, a few other places. There's still a little bit on the outside, but you know, we're just about stripped. I know I said that in the last couple videos, like we're done with teardown, but yet I keep finding little things to tear out. So, but seriously, honestly, we're like super close. All right, hope you enjoyed this. Please share this video, and you know, maybe you can bring some joy to other people's day by sharing the Knight Rider Historians with them. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.